Hello and welcome to my action research project overview. My name is Brett Wilhoit, and I'd like to take you through some of the details of what I did for my research project for the research class 5153 for American College of Education. So a little about the overview. My kind of question I was kind of focusing on my research on was called, it was titled kind of, "Is blended learning more effective than traditional teaching methods?" And that's kind of the main focus for my overall research project as well. So the reason why I picked that process is the fact that my school that I currently teach at, Crystal Lake Central, we are in the middle of a pilot program. And I am one of 11 teachers that has started piloting a blended format for the classes this year. So a little bit about Crystal Lake Central, my high school. We've got about 1,500 kids. We're in year 3 of a one-to-one Chromebook initiative, and we've kind of received some fairly high rankings from the state as well. We're one of 4 high schools in the district. There's 3 in the city of Crystal Lake, and then there's one other as part of our district that's in the neighboring community as well too. So our blended format, we're using what's called a flex model, and that's where students can be released some days of the week, depending on whenever the teacher specifies. Currently, the plan for that is the students have to go to the library as well, and they must meet certain academic requirements. Ours is the fact that they have to have a C, or 70% or higher, C or higher, to be eligible to do that as well. And we'll talk about some of the other requirements, possibilities for growth and change later on in this presentation. So the main purpose of why I conducted this research is to determine which model of blended learning is the most effective. We kind of have a TOSA, a teacher on special assignment. He's in charge of the entire blended learning program, the pilot project, and he settled on this flex model. But part of my research is to see, is this the best method? And if there's other methods that maybe are more effective, considering we are a high school only district, I also wanted to see if this is the most effective for the high school level as well too. And also to kind of determine, is blended learning more effective than traditional teaching methods? Because obviously we anticipate some pushback or concern from other teachers who are not part of this. And we want to make sure and see, does the research back up this switch to blended learning? So my problem statement, basically I started to kind of touch on some of those elements earlier, but essentially what I want to see is which blended learning model is the most effective. And then, like I mentioned, which blended learning model is most effective for high school level classes. And then also, I'm a business education teacher, and so I wanted to see what types of blended learning models work well for certain academic departments. And so particularly what blended learning model is most effective for my area, business education as well too. So what I kind of then formulated those into research questions. And what I mainly tried to focus my research questions on and around was to see which is most effective, blended or traditional teaching methods. And I also want to get into what model of blended learning is the most effective for my particular high school. Fairly large, 1,500. We're in the suburbs of Chicago, so there's plenty more schools around us that are double or more our size. And there's also some others that are smaller than us as well too. So for a moderately large population with a one-to-one Chromebook initiative, would this model be effective? And then if so, which classes can blended learning be applied to as well? Something else we wanted to focus on. So a couple of main quotes that I pulled out from my literature review as well. And the fact that I kind of see some of the authors listed. Collis et al. Basically talking about how many studies found that the use of blended learning approaches has increased the presence of active learning strategies, expanded the number of peer-to-peer activities, and the use of learner-centered strategies. And it's something that I think is a positive aspect about blended learning in general, and some of the advantages it can have over traditional types of approaches as well too. Okay. Also being kind of business education. The next quote I found from Bluick, Backfisher, Goodyear, and Ellis from 2012 talked about vocational education leaders and how they kind of tend to have sometimes a much firmer base in which to build standards, guidelines, policies as well too. So that can hopefully be helpful in that regard. Some other aspects that I found from the lit review kind of revealed that there's a significant amount of variation in different concepts that teachers have when it comes to blended learning. This is kind of another problem that comes up. Different teachers view blended learning very differently as well too. Something that we hope to try to kind of address if this pilot program is to be expanded. Also finding some other key quotes as well. Warren talked about flow schools engaged in blended learning. The two most significant benefits reported are accessing better content beyond standard textbook sources and for creating time to personalize student instruction. And I definitely agree with that. We'll talk about personalized student instruction later on as well too in this review. So getting to my research methodology and design, I chose a kind of mixed methods case study evaluation design, and I had both qualitative and quantitative data. The staff surveys that I conducted were qualitative with open-ended kind of long sentence format kind of design of that. And my quantitative data came from the student surveys, as well as also lesson plan submissions from the blended and traditional teachers as well. So as far as how did I collect the data and what did I do? I assigned all the students in the blended learning program a quick survey through Google Forms that was sent out to their email, where they were asked to kind of compare their experiences in both the blended classrooms as well as their traditional classes from previous years. The next type of data I collected was all the teachers in the blended learning cohort or pilot program, put them into a focus group and kind of created an online Canvas class, since we're using Canvas for our learning platform for the blended rollout. And on there, we were able to conduct a kind of an asynchronous meeting where I was kind of able to pose a number of questions and to them, and they were able to respond when they had time, which was kind of great in that regard too. And then the third and final thing is that I collect lesson plans from both traditional and kind of blended teachers and analyze them for the amount of Wicker strategies. And that stands for writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading strategies. That's part of the AVID program, which stands for Achievement via Individual Determination. It's kind of a program we've been working here at Crystal Lake Central for a number of years to kind of help bridge that gap from the kind of lower middle groups to kind of hopefully achieve college success as well. So some of the data analysis. Students had overwhelmingly positive comments regarding the blended classes. Some things they appreciated in particular were the freedom and the ability to kind of use their time as best as they see fit, something I kind of mentioned again and again. Teachers in the focus group like the blended learning more as well for the ability to kind of work with those students who are struggling, because oftentimes those students that are C or higher can get flexed out. Teachers can then be able to kind of focus more one-on-one with the struggling students, kind of pair them up, get them together, and really focus on them as well too. Most of my classes are close to 30 students, so sometimes it's hard to focus on the handful of kids who are struggling as well too. The lesson plan analysis did not go very well because of the fact that when I collected it, I got a wide variety of lesson plans. Some were very detailed, some were, to the Danielson model, others were just a couple scribbled notes, a couple bullet points, things like that. So that made it difficult for me, and that's something that I'll talk about later on in the reflections and stuff as well. So some future action plan, hope to possibly see expanding the blended learning program beyond just 11 teachers, also possibly being able to expand it to our sister schools in our district as well. Hopefully be able to continue, and now that this is the first semester it's being run, at the end of the semester, be able to take a look at there's 3 classes throughout the entire school that are being run at the same time with both traditional and blended learning. Some are blended only, some are traditional only, and there's 3 that are both. And we can kind of hopefully be able to compare the performance of both those classes at the end of the semester to see which one is more effective as well too. Also hope to include maybe some more what we call technophobic teachers. Most of us teachers in this blended learning pilot program are much more tech savvy, so our answers might be skewed or biased because of that as well too. So we hope to, like I said, explore more high school related reports on blended learning for potential evaluation of data sources. Also see how well the flex model approaches to that as well too. Okay, so some conclusions. The fact that both teachers and students had very positive comments. My administration is eager to learn the results of my action research project, and I learned a lot about how to set up a research properly, including some good and some bad as well too. And at the end.